Welcome back to What's What, your weekly plug into the world of electrical happenings here in Mzansi. Right, let's get straight into it because there's a proper storm brewing in the electrical industry. And if you've got solar panels, are thinking of getting them, or you're a sparky yourself, this one's for you. There's a massive debate kicking off about who is actually qualified to sign off on DC electrical installations. We're talking about your solar PV systems, your battery backups, the whole shebang. The Electrical Contractors Association, or the ECASA, has officially thrown down the gauntlet, lodging a formal appeal against the Department of Employment and Labor. It's a real David and Goliath situation, and it's all about something called a Certificate of Compliance, or a CoC. So, here's the lowdown. On the 6th of March this year, 2025, the Department of Labor issued an interpretation about who can issue a CoC for these DC installations. Now, this might sound a bit technical, but bear with me because it has massive implications for the safety of your home and, frankly, for human life. The ECASA is saying, whoa, hold up a minute. They reckon the department's interpretation is not just wrong, but it's actively dangerous. It seems to open the door for electricians who are only qualified to test single-phase AC systems to sign off on complex DC solar installations. Now, for anyone who knows their amps from their ohms, you'll know that AC and DC are two completely different beasts. Your regular house wiring, the stuff that powers your kettle and your telly, that's AC, alternating current. DC, or direct current, is what you get from batteries and solar panels. It behaves differently. It has different risks. We're talking higher chances of electrical arcing, which can cause fires, and it requires specialized know-how to make it safe. The core of the issue seems to be a job title, the Electrical Tester for Single Phase, or ETSP. According to the regulations, these individuals can test and certify electrical installations that are supplied by a single-phase electricity supply. Think of the main supply coming into your house from Eskom or the municipality. The Department of Labor's interpretation seems to suggest that as long as the main supply to the property is single-phase, an ETSP can sign off on everything connected to it, including a massive high-voltage DC solar system on the roof. The ECA is saying this is madness. They argue, quite logically, that the training for an ETSP covers none of the specifics of DC systems. These folks aren't taught about PV string configurations, battery storage risks, or the special kind of insulation monitoring you need for DC. In fact, the ECA points out that someone can become an ETSP with just 5 years of experience and completing the single-phase unit standards without ever doing a full trade test or getting specific DC training. On the other hand, you have installation electricians, or IEs. These are the artisans who are trained and registered to work on any electrical installation. They've done the hard yards, they understand the complexities of both AC and DC, and they are the ones, according to the ECA, who should be signing off on these advanced systems. The ECA's appeal letter pulls no punches. They point out that international standards, which South Africa has agreed to follow, like IEC 6446, specifically require competent people who are familiar with DC systems to be the ones verifying PV installations. Allowing ETSPs to do this work not only goes against global best practice, but could also leave homeowners with a CoC that isn't worth the paper it's printed on. Think about it from an insurance perspective. A fire starts, and the investigation finds it was due to a faulty DC installation. The homeowner presents their CoC, but it turns out the person who signed it wasn't actually qualified to work on DC systems. That's a recipe for a rejected claim and a massive financial and legal headache. The ECA also makes a very sharp legal point. The Department of Labor seems to be saying that because ETSPs are not excluded from signing off these installations, they are therefore allowed to. The ECA counters this by saying that not excluded is not the same as being authorized or competent. To be authorized, you need the right qualifications and legal backing, which they argue ETSPs simply don't have for DC work. So, what does the ECA want? It's pretty simple, really. They've put it in black and white in their appeal. They've asked the chief inspector to answer a few direct questions. Can an ETSP issue a CoC for a normal installation with plugs and lights supplied by a single-phase grid? Yes. Supplied by a single-phase generator or inverter? Yes. But here's the kicker. Can an ETSP issue a CoC for the DC portion of an installation, like the solar panels and the batteries that feed that inverter? A resounding no. They are demanding that the Department of Labor reevaluate its stance and issue a clear, unambiguous directive that states ETSPs are not permitted to issue CoCs for any DC installations, including solar PV and battery systems. They want this published officially in the Government Gazette or a departmental circular to clear up all the confusion. And they've ended their letter with a clear warning. If this isn't addressed, they're ready to take further legal action to ensure the safety of the public and the integrity of the industry. This is a critical moment for the booming solar industry in South Africa. We need clear rules that prioritize safety and competence. Allowing underqualified individuals to sign off on high-risk work undermines the qualified electricians who do things by the book, and it puts homeowners, their families, and their properties at serious risk. We'll be keeping a close eye on how the Department of Employment and Labor responds to this. But for now, if you're getting a solar system installed, make sure you ask the question, are you an installation electrician, and do you have the specific qualifications and experience to work on and certify DC systems? Your safety could depend on it. That's all we have time for in this episode of What's What. If you like the content, please follow us as it will help to grow this podcast. Stay safe, stay informed, and check your connections.